and ultra tech numbers. So these are the big stories which we are working with. Market breadth is the problem, and banking stocks, they remain under acute pressure. Ankur Shah, founder and CIO with Value Investing India, joins us live from Dubai to get a better understanding of how global investors are now viewing India. Ankur, fantastic to have you on ET Now. Thank you for joining us. Let's start with your area of expertise, the financial space, banks. And banks are in a disarray. What explains the underlying weakness in banks? It's not restricted to PSU banks. It's now, the weakness is now visible in private banks as well as good quality NBFCs.
Yeah, I think the issue really is asset quality. And I think what people are expecting is with the continued weakness in the economy, that you'll see a pickup in NPAs, not only in the PSU banks, but also in the private sector banks. And I think potentially there might be a concern now with lending growth, with companies not really picking up their CapEx cycles. So I think you're seeing kind of concerns on top line growth and then issues with credit quality, I think is which is pressuring the banks currently.
So just in continuation of your view then, Ankur, we are clearly seeing a massive sell-off coming in the banking stocks across the board. Axis Bank numbers weighted today. What is the sense that you're getting about how hard hit the earnings could be from the banking pack? And more importantly, are we going to see just this quarter of an aberration or weakness rather? Or do you think this is going to be a continued, more systemic kind of a problem that the entire banking sector is going to face, in particular the PSU banks?
See, I think fundamentally the economy is still sound. I think it may be 1 or 2 quarters of potentially weaker credit quality, but if you look at the operating margins of these businesses, I would think you're going to see expansion as interest rates come down. You have lower inflation. That always benefits the banks longer term. And I think what will happen is that you might see 1 or 2 quarters of weakness, but I think longer term, especially as a value investor, I think it's a good time to be looking at the bank stocks currently.
So, Ankur, this is one of those days where there is so much to discuss, and I know we've extended our appointment with you. I'm going to keep my last question very simple. Are you a buyer in this market? If yes, where are you nibbling and where are you shopping?
I think the 2 sectors I think are really interesting right now is basically the banking sector and the housing finance companies. I think that's a secular growth story. And if you're a long-term investor, I think it's a good time to be looking at that spot right now in the market.
Okay, Ankur, good chatting with you. Just so much happening in terms of earnings as well as the market weakness. Got to address one set, but we will chat with you once again in a few days from now. That was the view on the banking pack, but let's address the NIIT numbers. Rahul Patwardhan, CEO at NIIT, joins us on the show.